Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a terrifying journey into a world just completely ravaged by conflict. A world where mythical dangers aren't just legends, they're active, combat-ready threats.
Exactly.
Our mission is to synthesize these sources we have, which describe this profound existential crisis, and we're focusing on one specific group, the highly secretive yet surprisingly chaotic organization standing between humanity and total annihilation, the Death Hunter Corps, the DHC.
And that word you used, chaotic, is so important here. The sources aren't showing us a world that's healing. We're looking at a world that is actively spiraling toward collapse.
Right.
The documents we have paint this picture where the absolute necessity of fighting these monsters is constantly being undercut by internal friction, power politics, and just widespread societal breakdown.
So let's start with that foundational context, because you said It is bleak. The sources confirm this world was utterly ruined by something called the Blood War. Earth is now in a state that's explicitly labeled anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, we see revolutionaries gaining ground in this creeping civil war.
So you've got this political nightmare just layered directly on top of a supernatural apocalypse.
Exactly.
It creates an almost unsustainable amount of pressure, and the clock is just ticking so fast. One of our key figures, Marcus Allister, he's inside the DHC, he notes they are only a few short months away from some mysterious pivotal encounter.
Oh, right. Tied to that phrase.
The second sun is rising. Yeah. Whatever that means, some cosmic event. It gives the DHC a hard deadline. They have to fix their own house because the enemy is on a schedule they absolutely cannot miss.
That urgency, you can feel it in the writing. But let's unpack that conflict.
Yeah.
The Blood War. It sounds conventional, but the goal behind it, as detailed in the DHC's own history, it just completely redefined what war even is.
It does. I mean, what was the goal?
Yeah.
The sources are chillingly clear. The Blood War wasn't fought for resources or, political dominance. It was intended to assimilate and annihilate the human race.
To assimilate and annihilate.
Yes. The goal was species-level genocide and conversion.
That is heavy. And crucially, the text suggests that while the annihilation part, the sort of brute force destruction, was supposedly overthrown.
Right. They think they stopped that part.
But the second half of that goal, the assimilation, is stated to be only beginning.
Exactly. And that shift is so critical. Annihilation is an event you can win or lose. Assimilation, that's a slower, more insidious kind of control.
A creeping threat.
Yeah, through political manipulation or hybrid creatures infiltrating society, maybe. The battle hasn't stopped. It's just gone underground.
Which brings up one of the most compelling nuggets of insight in these files. This whole crisis just completely reframes human history.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just that monsters suddenly appeared, it's that fairy tales and bedtime stories. They were never just fiction. They held hidden truths to warn a would-be hero.
It implies this massive, probably deliberate erasure of vital knowledge. The DHE is constantly playing catch-up, deciphering old myths to find, actual operational intelligence.
So their intel is basically ancient mythology.
Literally, they use it to fight the Deathwalkers. It makes you wonder how many times humanity had a chance to prepare, only to just discard it all as superstition.
Okay, before we dive right into DHC headquarters, let's look at the political landscape. Who is running this fractured country?
Well, this is where it gets a little strange. The interim leader is described as a young man, a 20-something, who apparently knew nothing about running a country.
That sounds like a disaster.
It sounds like the ultimate liability, right? A total novice in charge during a crisis. But the sources immediately add that despite his inexperience in government, he's highly regarded as a leading force against the Deathwalkers.
So his reputation is built on fighting, not politics.
Exactly. He's a warrior figure, not a seasoned politician. And for the DHC, this connection is everything because he is an avid supporter of Death Hunter Corps.
And didn't he? Didn't he try to join them at one point?
He did. Before he was president, he actually submitted a request to become a rookie Death Hunter himself, which, as a side note, the CEO, Dion Martel, reportedly found hilarious.
Of course he did.
But that connection is why DHC has protection. It's also why our narrator, Marcus, is on this impossible deadline. The president is about to make a formal announcement about the DHC, and Marcus has to write the press release.
And that press release, it really speaks to DHC's core identity. Marcus's draft lays out what the organization is supposed to be. It's a place where great deeds were accomplished and great secrets were kept.
The secrecy is the key. Why hide the truth if you're the hero?
Right.
The draft says it explicitly. The public cannot know the reality. They can't know that chaos is only one step away from total domination. So DHC is this psychological barrier, filtering the truth to stop mass panic, while also fighting the actual monsters. It's a very delicate balance.
So let's meet the people running this operation. The leadership is called the Sion Titans.
A bit dramatic.
Just a bit. We've got Sion Martell, the chairman and CEO, Simon Romero, the chief operations officer. He seems to be the field marshal.
The man on the ground.
And then Marcus Allister, our narrator, who is the chief administrative and information officer, the CAO and CIO.
And it's so important to remember, Marcus is filling his father's old position, Ewan's. So while Dion and Simon are focused on strategy and combat, Marcus's job is to manage the flow of intelligence and keep the whole thing from falling apart administratively.
Which seems almost impossible in a world in anarchy.
Right. But this triad, they claim to have touched all grounds of conflict in this universe, so their confidence is pretty high.
But despite that expertise, they're hitting these major roadblocks with recruitment. DHC is trying to hire new hunters, but they're meeting little success.
And the reason why is just. It's the cruelest irony. It's the Civil War.
Humanity is too busy fighting itself to fight the actual monsters.
Exactly. DHC needs bodies to throw at the existential threats, but the societal collapse means those bodies are unavailable. The two crises are just feeding each other.
And this manpower crisis is happening while Marcus is trying to get this press release done. Sion Martell demands it be put together by the end of the day today.
Which, predictably gets an obvious sign of evitation from Marcus. It's such a human reaction to this impossible corporate deadline, but the backdrop is the end of the world.
Okay, so let's get specific. What is the DHC actually fighting? What are these threats?
Well, the most immediate high-level threat they talk about is the Shadow Vance case. This was a pivotal case that resulted in the start of something new and horrifying. A Neo-Deathwalker.
A Neo-Deathwalker.
Yeah.
That sounds bad. What does that mean exactly?
The sources define it as a true hybrid, a fusion of the capabilities of a Shadowman and a vampire of direct descent.
Direct descent implies purity, power.
Immense power in the vampire lineage, yeah. And you combine that with what a Shadowman can do, invisibility, speed, shadow manipulation, we can guess. This isn't just a monster. It's a strategic synthesis of the worst possible threats.
And the worst part is, months after that case, Shadow Vance is still off the radar.
Still out there? They're dealing with a super predator they can't even find, who is actively trying to carry out that assimilation plot we talked about.
So to fight that, they need historical knowledge.
Which takes us back. The entire organization's pipeline of connections was established during Ewan's crusade against the Dark Kaisers. Again, Ewan being Marcus's missing father. The modern DHC is literally built on the foundations of the previous generation.
So they've got this one massive invisible threat. What about the day-to-day? Are they just focused on the big bads?
No, not at all. We see the whole spectrum. Simon Romero, the COO, he recently handled a case involving ghouls with the rookies.
So ghoul cleanup is like entry-level monster hunting.
Pretty much. It's the grunt work that prepares new hunters for the unimaginable stakes of hunting a Neo-Deathwalker. It shows that even during a civil war, somebody's still got to pick up the bodies.
Okay, let's pivot from the external wars to the internal drama, because honestly, this is where the most bizarre details come from. The dynamic between Marcus and his CEO, Sion Martell, is just incredibly strained.
It's this classic, charming, but high-functioning sociopath dynamic. Dion is constantly calling Marcus, my friend, pal, chum of mine, while simultaneously dumping these high-pressure tasks on him.
And in the middle of this existential crisis, he's flirting away with the intern, Serenity, right in front of his CAO.
It's an administrative nightmare that Marcus has to navigate every single day.
And the setting just matches this eccentric leadership perfectly. Dion's office is not some somber war room. It's huge, giant bay windows, vaulted ceiling.
And a mini golf hole.
A mini golf hole set up in the corner.
I mean, that detail is just gold. It emphasizes this weird dissonance. The CEO is relaxing, flirting, and golfing, while the world is supposedly one step from total domination. It's bizarre.
And it's in this bizarre setting that Marcus stumbles on the ultimate executive secret. He's waiting for Dion, and he hears muffled laughter coming from behind the desk area.
And Marcus, ever the information officer, he immediately goes to investigate. And he discovers a secret safe room. Not a small cabinet, a full room, concealed behind a moving bookcase right behind Dion's desk.
And he tries the old mystery novel tricks, right? Tipping books.
Fails completely, so he starts methodically scanning the desk's edge, looking for the trigger, and he finds it. A button hidden in the design drop of the desk, ascribed as being just as typical as a secret door button would be hidden.
Unbelievable.
He prods it, hears a mechanism, and the whole bookcase moves aside, revealing Dion and presumably the intern Serenity inside.
And Dion's reaction isn't anger or panic, it's just amusement.
Pure theatrical amusement. He was in so much laughter, he was almost tearing up.
That's just such a power move.
It's pure hubris. And then he just calmly reads the press release Marcus wrote and approves of his interesting take on the state of the world, completely unfazed.
And this whole strange encounter, it just sets the stage for the real sensitive topic here, the disappearance of his father, Ewan.
Right. Marcus is determined to find out what happened. He says he can't mourn without solid evidence of death. He's basically running a private investigation
Into his predecessor's vanishing act. And Dion Martel, the man with the secret golf and intern room, is directly implicated.
He is. The sources confirmed Dion was the last person to see Ewan alive.
Which makes their conversation right after the safe room discovery so incredibly loaded. Dion says to him, "You will do your dad honor, taking over his position so soon after his supposed death."
That phrase, supposed death, is just everything.
It's everything.
Dion avoids any certainty. He confirms the ambiguity around Ewan's fate. And yet, at the same time, he gives Marcus his blessing to search for the truth. He says, Ewan would have done the same as you.
He's comforting him, validating him, and maybe, just maybe, masking his own involvement. The tension is immense.
It is. It forces you to look beyond the monsters. You're left with these two parallel realities.
On one hand, you have a world facing total assimilation by neo-Deathwalkers, run by an inexperienced president with some cosmic clock ticking down. The external stakes couldn't be higher.
And on the other hand, the world's only hope, the DHC, struggles to recruit and is run by this bizarre executive whose CEO plays mini-golf and has a secret room behind a moving bookcase.
The DHC's internal stability seems to rely as much on these secrets and quirks as it does on fighting monsters.
You have to wonder if the ability of the DHC to defeat these creatures is just intrinsically linked to the stability or instability of the Trian Titans and the secrets they keep.
That hidden door, it might be a bigger operational risk than any ghoul.
It really might.
And this brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. Marcus, even after finding the safe room, still couldn't figure out how Dion opened the door from the inside. He only found the external button. So, considering Dion's central role, his penchant for secrecy, and his direct suspicious connection to Ewan's disappearance, the ultimate question isn't whether they can stop the assimilation plot. The ultimate question is this. Is the biggest hidden truth in this world not about the monsters outside, but about who truly holds the levers of power and the deepest secrets inside the Death Hunter core?
And if those secrets are about Ewan, how long will Marcus stay the obedient CAO before he becomes a real threat to his own CEO?
Food for thought. We'll see you on the next deep dive.